Okay, I'm going to thank ChatGPT for giving me medical advice, or at least trying to sway my fears. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Oh, this is a sweatshirt. It's too hot. I'm always freezing because the air conditioning is. I have on long underwear because I go into these air conditioning places, and by the time I leave, I'm so cold, which is just a ploy to get us to leave faster so they can do a table rollover. They roll over the faster they roll over tables in a restaurant, the more money they make. And if you see the menu, the way they set it up is so they can make guarantee they make $15 per person or something. They have us all maneuvered. We are being utilized as a marketing client. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and today I'm going to talk about an aneurysm. I have a 5-centimeter aneurysm, which I think is 2 inches, as I understand it. Okay, now don't get me wrong. You should be always careful. I was told I had a heart attack. Then I get this cardiac catheterization, and the doctor that talked about that said I didn't have a heart attack. I have no clue, okay, other than the fact that they're doing a lot of tests, and those are kind of the machine works of making money for a hospital. I had a CAT scan, which is a kind of a live imaging machine where they show kind of a three-dimensional image of my heart. And I asked them if I could see that, and they said, well, they could only put it on a CD-ROM or something like that. I said, I don't have a CD-ROM, but they're blocking me on the X-rays and these images, okay? But maybe, who knows, maybe they're somewhere on my chart. The thing is kind of complicated and not quite easy to understand. Although I did get a lecture today that we really don't like you analyzing what we're doing. I go, okay, that's the second time I've been told not to analyze what they're doing. That means don't become well-knowledged on the problems you have. We want you to just listen to us. And I said, well, if I had a doctor to talk to all the time, I would probably do that. But the popular question is, Andy, what does the doctor say? And I said, I haven't talked to a doctor on any of my problems. They basically talk about the proposition of what problems I could have. Then they go send me to a test, and then I get shuffled down to the next one without a second thing. Now, I'm supposed to have a second appointment with a nurse practitioner 3 months after my 2 stents were put in. And I'm not going, that one to me is just make money. I'm going to skip that one if I can, because I don't see any point unless they're going to prescribe a lab test for my lipids, which I asked for that at the last thing because one of my friends recommended I do that. And they wouldn't give me a prescription, okay? So I go, hey, this is all I care about is your lab test. Okay, thank you, ChatGPT. This is openai.com on the internet. And what I did is I selected, copied, pasted the whole thing in there, and I say, tell me what this means in layman terms. And then I break down different terms in it, and I start getting each term, and then I try to find. I also went to Perplexity, where they do give some pictures. What I have is something like DAA or something like that, a distal, but the aneurysm that I have is kind of scary because you can bleed out in like an 85% death rate if you burst a aneurysm. The statistic to understand is that about 300 out of 100,000 people, 300 have heart issues. Out of 100,000 people, about 7 have aneurysm. Now, trust me, it's a lot higher than that because people just die and they don't do anything, right? So, I mean, the ultimate way you die is your heart stops, right? On the other side is they're not going to, the statistics are all meant to be played with. Okay, it's a marketing thing. I mean, they're trying to act like they're doing a great job on the heart thing, and I don't see them doing it. If they were really doing a great causation instead of symptoms, if they were dealing with the causation and they got rid of everybody on statins and high blood pressure, I would say they're doing good. But they actually, the wheelhouse of the medical industry seems to be giving out statins, blood pressure medicine, and blood thinners, and all these things to take your brain, to take away the oxygen from the brain. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've lived in 114 countries, and I've been doing this for over 26 years. I'm trying to go to Israel. We are going to 9 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time this Sunday. I don't know, it's going to be September 1st, I believe. We will have a go live. I will go live on Zoom, video on. I don't deal with anonymous people ever. I'm through with that Mickey Mouse crap. That's for children. Okay, the children that want to be anonymous are children, and they need to stay out of my peruse. Okay, but this Sunday, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will go live for Patreon people. So if you want to join, it's only $5, and then you can talk about different things. But I'm wanting to go to Israel. I have enough money to go there, and I'm trying to do it. I have an appointment with this surgeon, thoracic surgeon, on, towards the end of September here. So I'm stuck until after I talk to him, and who knows? He's acting like it's not that urgent. So let me go to Israel then. But 5 centimeters is, if you read a chart of the different sizes, this is kind of big. Okay, this is big. But it is a sac, and it looks like they could put a stent in there, and it just block off the hole that's feeding this sac and whatever. Now, I got hit extremely hard when I was about 23. I was on a motorcycle. I broke my femur. I broke my sternum, that bone right there. I broke my wrist. I had a fatty embolism, which is fat going around my heart. And they had all sorts of complications. And I was in intensive care for 10 days when I was about 22, 23, something like that. And so I do believe that jostling of my heart, I broke the bone right there, right? Maybe it damaged. See, all you got to do is probably nick an artery of one of these big arteries, and it could cause a weakening of the side, and then it could start bulging. The way I understand it, this is a bunch of layers of skin, like a bunch of layers of cells, like multi-layers, and it's a balloon, and they're like blowing up. When you get a weak spot, it kind of blows up, and this one turned into a sac. It is they said that it's sort of calcified, which I think is a good thing. One thing that people don't talk about is cholesterol is the what lays down if there is a weakness in the vein or weakness in any aorta. And they start laying down a solid mass, which is cholesterol, and then it precipitates into calcium. Okay, so that's the way I understand it. Okay, now what's really wonderful about AI is you can sit there and take all that stuff. If you guys actually know how to copy and paste. Do you know how to copy and paste? If you don't know how to copy and paste, you don't know anything about the internet. I always laugh when somebody sends me a link and they send absolutely every. They got these trackers they put on there. Erase everything. Go to the question mark in the thing. Or the ampersand, go to the ampersand and erase everything after that. Okay, that is just tracking. Okay, it's meant to tell everybody exactly what you're doing because they're tracking everything we do. But every time you use your credit card, you're tracked. Kim Commando's brilliant. I think I wonder if she ever is going to get hardcore and these guys say, they're selling convenience, and with the convenience, they are selling your identity, okay? Okay, so I have an aneurysm. It's about 2 inches across, 5 centimeters in size. So a centimeter is about a quarter inch. So it's about, I don't know, about like that. And that's a little round sac. It's a round sac, as opposed to just a widening. So this thing kind of bulged out and became a saccular. It's under the distal aortic area, and it's right in as best I could tell, it's in this arch. There's an arch that comes around and goes down and then splits for the legs. And it's on the under surface or the under thing. Now, trust me, they've got a bunch of terms, and they didn't give me any pictures, right? And I don't have any graphs. I had to create my own. I do have for any of my Patreons, I'll share this link with you. It's already up on the chat. I'm sharing what information I have in the analysis of this. And anybody that's having heart troubles or wants to talk about heart troubles is welcome to get on it. My knee replacement has to be, because they put in a stent, which is inside the hose of one of these things, they put a thing in there that holds the area open. That's called a stent. They put in 2 of them. Makes me nervous because it looks like they blocked off a couple little, curves in the river. Okay. And I'll be able to talk to the surgeon on the 26th. Okay, I'm going to have a laundry list of questions. I even bought a model of the heart so that I can take with me. I got a little model of the heart. When I solved my medical problem for sciatica, I got a spinal column, and I studied it until I understood mechanically what was going wrong with it. Most of these, any of the bones and all the aches and pains and stuff, that's just a construction job. That's a mechanical issue, and it's a more complex by causal relation, kind of deterministic, what goes on from here, step 1, step 2, step 3. That's what goes on with the heart. It's all dynamically put together, and a lot of the problems here is we're having a bunch of specialists with nobody that's understanding the whole picture. So you get a lot of I don't know, something like 100,000 people die from prescription medicines a year because of the conflicts. And a lot of the older people are getting conflicts. And the nurse practitioners and all these people are not really coordinating together. They need to have all these medicines coordinated together. Me, I'm only taking one medicine, Plavix, which is for my stent, which is for the platelets. The platelets, I guess, are what run in and block up say I get a cut, like I had a little cut yesterday. Oh, it went away already. A cut there, and it was bleeding, I guess. Didn't see it till today. And the platelets go in there. But and then they'll bunch up and they'll become a clot. So you don't want any clots around the stent, this little metal piece in there. You want it to be basically healed, but you don't want it to have clots around it. So because that's what they're opening up, right? It's it's not a clot. It's not a clot is a stoppage. That's where you have a heart attack. A heart attack is when you have a stop of the heart, caught an infarction, and then basically you cut off the oxygen, and somehow the heart adapts and goes around it or does something, right? I had just one artery that was feeding the lower ventricle of my heart blood, and so I had like 15% of the blood going to one of the ventricles that was feeding the skin or the blood or the muscle to that heart. Now I've got an aneurysm up into the top of my heart. See, there's an arch up there, and I think it's right below. There's like three valves coming off there, like little rivers that shoot off. See, the whole body is like a big river, and there's and as the river goes downstream until it gets to veins and capillaries, they just keep getting smaller. We're talking one of the major ones. This is right in the heart, and my model to the heart is like really just the size of my 2 little fists put together. It's really small looking, but I don't know what they're going to do, and I'm talking to a nurse. As I said, I thank you for talking to all the nurses, but you're not the doctor. And I thank you much more for my chart that gives me all the medical stuff. And they say something in there that we legally have to give you this within so much time. I agree. Because if they didn't, like if I wanted to expedite this thing, say I was rich, I would just jump to another doctor and do it tomorrow, right? Can't really do that because I have to have this covered by insurance. I have 100% covered insurance with Medicare and Aetna. I don't have that silver slippers though, which would be really nice. What's going on, Aetna? And I have another insurance card for medicine, which is, I don't know, it's called wellness or something like that. I let Molly take care of me because she's an expert. She is a genius. Okay, you hope that all your doctors are a genius, but they don't even talk to you long enough to understand their knowledge. The doctor that was going to do Tiana David Liu, that was going to do my knee replacement, is now in another hospital. Okay, so the cluster, the Charlie Foxtrot goes on. Charlie Foxtrot, that's the name of this. Okay, so I guess I'm happy that they discovered this by accident. I'm happy that I got the knee thing started. On the other side is I'm kind of happy too because I've discovered about 8 alternatives for my knees that could maybe make it so I didn't have to do a knee replacement. I do have an inversion table, and it takes, what it does is the inversion table, when I hang upside down, it pulls the joint apart, and that allows the synovial fluid to flow in there, which is the liquid that lubricates your knees. I highly recommend, if you're a runner or any kind of person that does any kind of large amount of exercise, before you start, you need to like shake your legs back and forth, and just sit on the side of a table and just shake your legs back and forth about 50 times, and that'll get all your joints lubricated. Okay, because that lack of lubrication is eventually something. Now, there's people that say the cartridge never wears out. I don't understand any of this. But there is arthritis. So what is arthritis? Arthritis is inflammation because you're eating sugar, bread, pasta, cake, all these things, Coca-Cola. I went to a restaurant yesterday with my friend Jeff, and the only thing I could find on the menu that I could eat was a piece of a hamburger without a bun. I suppose I could have eaten an egg or a scrambled egg or something, which is really kind of cholesterol. I mean, cheese is off the thing, milk's off the thing. Everything they had in this menu was off the, not healthy. And I don't want anything cooked in vegetable oils like corn vegetable, all these different types of vegetables, because that and the sugar is killing us and making us all into type 2 diabetes. Okay, that's my update. And so I'll know more at the end of around after the 20th somewhere, 25th or something of September. I will know more from the doctor, and he's probably going to tell me to take it real easy. Then I'm going to go to Israel. I'm not going to stop living and doing what these doctors tell me to do. I will keep on living till the day I die. I would be very happy to just, drop over dead one day. I'm going to make a little video to show my sisters how my passwords to my 2 computers and my smartphone so that they can go in there and peruse around after I'm gone. But life is good. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm really wanting to go to Israel. I have $1,600 to go to Israel. All this means is that I guess in Israel it wouldn't be that big a deal because if I did I don't know. I'm gonna show you the art of never carrying a sick. I got 40-pound backpack. How to go around and never carry your backpack. How to never carry your backpacks. Period. Okay, and you can do that. You don't have to carry your backpacks. One way, really easy way, is just to get a wheelchair. Then they'll take care of everything. On the other side is everybody in a wheelchair doesn't need a wheelchair. Only about 10% of these guys in a wheelchair need a wheelchair. They're just playing games because they're lazy. And I mean, almost every, when the champion of this is whenever I fly to Guatemala, it's just like every single person, there's like 15 wheelchairs lined up. It's all free and it's all Mickey Mouse. Okay. When I came back from Dominican Republic and I went to Guatemala and I had broken my tibia, they wanted me to stand up and walk through the thing. I said, I can't. They go, what do you mean you can't stand up and walk through the metal detector? I said, I really can't walk. I'm not one of these goofballs that can just stand up and walk through this that's playing with the system. Okay. Life is good. I had a 2-inch aneurysm. It's a sac. So what that sac is say this is the artery. The sac is something that bulges out like that. This is the sac. And it's like a balloon on the edge of your thing. And I'm hoping that he can put a stent inside here or something. The problem is this is in a very compact area, and there's the distance between all the different valves is really short. And I just don't see quite logically how they did it unless they have a special stent with 3 little hoses or something so that it can allow space for all the other vents. And they probably do. But become a patron so we can discuss these things. I have one doctor that I really appreciate. I won't say the name, but he's been writing me and explaining a lot of this stuff. And I'm sending all this information to my followers. But if you want to be alive, You got to strive to live. If you want to be alive, you got to strive to live. Don't strive to die, strive to live. Those that sit, don't get comfortable or you die. That's the Stanley principle. Don't get comfortable or you will die. And especially don't get comfortable listening to the doctors tell you how to do that. Mark said a really good joke. You know what? If there's 365 doctors in a class and the lowest person in the class, what do they call him? Doctor. The nurse practitioners is just a way for them to make more money. So is this is an industry of making money, and I don't like this idea that you have to wait a month for an appointment. You really should be doing all these appointments. They need to get more doctors. They need to do something. They should be opening up more schools. Obviously, a lot of people want to be a doctor. I don't really understand. We should be able to see a doctor within 1 week, okay, all the time. Okay, and this idea of a monthly payment plan probably set up just specifically because Medicare will only pay so much each month. I noticed this when I was trying to get one of my EKGs. They said you can't do 2 in 1 month because Medicare won't pay for it. I go, hey, what if you need it? Doesn't seem to be a priority even if you need it. Okay, there's all these Charlie Foxtrot things, and most people are just listening to the powers that be and obeying the doctors. I highly recommend you question everything they say. I saw my sciatica after going to over 10 different doctors, having x-rays done, MRI. I personally solved it. I solved my supragastritis because I studied until I understood what it was. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that you are going to be correct, but a lot of the lady said, you're going to get stressed. I said, what's more stressful, to not do research or to do research? I'm not going to get in an argument with any of these doctors because it's a charismatic personality thing. You got to sell the doctor on you're listening to them completely, even though I am nodding my head and smiling and asking some very simple questions and the most poignant questions possible. I am in control of my body and my life. You got to strive to survive. You got to strive to live. You got to strive to live. You're not going to survive unless you strive to live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not?